Everyone, respected seniors, dear colleagues, and my very dear friends. Myself, C. Nivesh Goyal, I am here to present before you TDS, Tax Deducted at Source, which is inserted under Chapter 17B of the Income Tax Act 1961. Well, I would not miss the opportunity to thank Delivery Branch of EIRC of ICAI who have taken so much pain in organizing this online video conferencing or rather say classes so that the professional colleagues don't go back in the professional fields of learning something new day by day. Well, so let's start with TDS. What is TDS? TDS is tax deducted at source. As per the Income Tax Act 1961, any company or person making a payment are required to deduct TDS, tax deducted at source, that is while making payment if the payment exceeds certain threshold limits. Well, certain threshold limits that is given under various sections as inserted under Chapter 17B of the Income Tax Act 61. Well, there are 2 to 3 things to be known in TDS, that is deductor, deductee, and PAN. Well, deductor is such a person who is responsible to cut the TDS of the deductee while making payment. And deductee is the person whose money is deducted by the deductor while he is receiving some payment. Well, this will be briefly discussed. This will be briefly discussed under the various sections of TDS. Well, the most important thing to know here is that PAN is required for both the deductor and deductee. Well, the next topic which I would like to touch up is TAN. Well, what is TAN? TAN is tax deduction account number. Any person who is responsible for collecting tax or deducting tax and further depositing it to the government's account so that the deductee claims benefit of the tax deducted at source will have to apply for a TAN number. Well, what is TAN number? It is a 10-digit alphanumeric number, contains numbers as well as alphabets. It has to be obtained by every person who is responsible to cut TDS as per the various sections in the 17B of the Income Tax Act, except, well, there are 3 exceptions to it. They are Section 194 IA, immovable property, IB 194 IB, that is under rent, and 194 IM, certain payments made by individual HUF. TAN number application has to be made under Form 49B. For example, say we take a TAN number CALG 07215F. The first 3 letters represent the state or the city where the TAN is issued. The next character represents the first name of the deductor. Mind you, deductor, the one who is deducting the tax. Next 5 characters are numerics, and the last but not the least is the letter which is given. Well, no basics upon the last number, it is just given. Next we come up upon the penalty for not obtaining TAN. TAN, as mentioned earlier, it is tax deduction account number. Well, if a person fails to either apply for TAN or he has applied and he also has a TAN but fails to quote TAN or quotes incorrect TAN, mind you, incorrect TAN in the documents in which we have to mention the TAN number, then a penalty of rupees 10,000 is leviable. Yes, my friends, you heard it right. Rupees 10,000 is leviable for non-quoting, wrong quoting, and if we don't apply for TAN. Next, we'll cover up the due dates for filing of returns. Every deductor who has been liable to deduct TDS, and therefore, on a quarterly basis, he is also liable to file returns under Form 24Q or Form 26Q. And the dates are as follows. For April to June, it is 31st July, that is after 30 days. It is a due date, that is last date of filing the return of TDS in Form 24Q and 26Q from April to June is 31st July. July to September, my friends, 31st October, October to December, 31st January, January to March, 31st May. Well, not much to explain in these. Well, there are two important cases where individuals, and mind you, individuals are not required to deduct tax. They are when they are making rent payment or pay fees to professionals such as doctors or lawyers. That is, अगर हम लोग कभी भी अगर हम लोग rent payment कर रहे हैं या फिर हम लोग कोई भी professionals that is lawyer या डॉक्टर को हम लोग रेंट पेमेंट कर रहे हैं, सॉरी रेंट पेमेंट नॉर्मल किसी को भी कर रहे हैं, या फिर अगर हम लोग प्रोफेशनल्स को या तो लॉयर या डॉक्टर को कुछ भी फीस पेमेंट कर रहे हैं, तो हमें टीडीएस काटने की आवश्यकता नहीं है. Next is late fees on late filing of return. Well, under section 234E, a late fees of rupees 200 per day. Yes, my friends, rupees 200 per day. I know it is a very big amount, but the government has to be tight so that we file our returns on timely basis. Rupees 200 per day has to be paid in case of late filing of TDS or TCS returns. But my dear friends, one important thing to note here is that the maximum amount of late fee that can be levied under section 234E is the amount of TDS to be deposited in that quarter, as the case may be. For example, if the amount of TDS is rupees 10,000 that is deducted by a deductor, then if the SSC is filing the return lately, not more than rupees 10,000 can be claimed from the deductor to be paid. Well, next is interest on non or late payment of TDS. Well, non and late payment, my dear friends, non means you have not paid the TDS, even you have not deducted it, and late payment of TDS means you have deducted it from the deductive but failed to pay in the government depository, my friends. As per section 201, any person who is liable to deduct TDS does not deduct it, or after deducting so, there are two cases. Either he doesn't deduct the TDS amount, or after deduction of the said amount fails to deposit it in the government treasury or say the government account, then such person is liable to pay, and then such person is liable to pay interest in the as the following cases. That is, interest will be leviable at the rate of 1% for every month of part of the month. My dear friends, part of the month means even a day is counted as a month. Many high court cases have said it that a month is a period of 30 days, but under the Income Tax Act, a day is counted as a month. That is, there is no precise definition of a month given in the Income Tax Act. Therefore, 1% will be leviable as interest on the amount of TDS if we fail to deduct the TDS amount, and 1.5% per month or part of the month if we deduct the TDS amount but we fail to deposit it in the government treasury, my friends. 1% or 1.5%. Well, let's take an example. If you have to pay a TDS amount of 500 rupees, 3,000, which we have deducted in January 15th, but paid this TDS after the actual date of TDS deposit, that is 29th May, so the interest will be calculated at 3,000 into 1.5% into 5 months. Well, we will go the due dates of the deposit of the amount of TDS deducted per month we will be studying later on, but एज ऑफ नाउ आई विल से यू दैट जनवरी का जो हम लोग का टीडीएस अमाउंट है, ये हम लोग को फरवरी 7 तारीख तक जमा देना पड़ता है बैंक अकाउंट। तो 7 तारीख तक हमने नहीं जमा दिया तो मई में जमा दिया, तो कितना एक्चुअली होता है? फरवरी, मार्च, अप्रैल, मई, 4 महीना। लेकिन बिकॉज ऑफ इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ द मंथ, सो here we have to take 5 months and not 4 months, my friends. Yes, 5 months. Therefore, rupees 225. Well, due date of deposit of TDS. बहुत ही इजी पार्ट है ये वाला। अप्रैल टू फरवरी का हम लोग जो TDS काटते हैं एज डिडक्टर, we will be depositing it within 7 days from the end of the month in which TDS is deducted. As in the previous example, I had explained you, January का जो TDS है, that we have to cut it in the month of January and deposit it in the month of February till 7th. That is last day is 7th of February. वैसे example मई का हम लोग का जो TDS है वो हम लोग को जून 7 तारीख तक जमा देना पड़ेगा। लेकिन मार्च का के केस में ऐसा नहीं है। मार्च के केस में we have to deposit it till 30th April. Yes, we have been given a little relaxation by government because of the financial end, and on or before 30th of April. Well, TDS पेमेंट अगर कोई गवर्नमेंट डिडक्ट करता है, दैट इज विदाउट प्रोडक्शन ऑफ चालान, दैट इज उनका चालान नहीं है, वो बुक एंट्री से जो लोग करते हैं गवर्नमेंट डिडक्टर्स, उनको उसी दिन सेम डे गवर्नमेंट डिडक्टर जिन लोग बाय विदाउट प्रोडक्शन ऑफ चालान दैट इज बाय बुक एंट्री करते हैं, उन लोग को सेम डे में करना पड़ेगा। सेम डे माय फ्रेंड, सेम डे। वेल, there's an important note in due date of deposit of TDS is that under section 194 IA, that is immovable property, IB rent, and M, that is on certain case sum paid by individual HUF, the TDS so deducted shall be paid on or before 30 days from the end of the month in which such deduction is made. That is as we had read earlier that 194 IBIA and MA, we don't need to apply for TAN. In the same case, the amount to be deposited to the government depository is not as per the normal TDS norms. It is within 30 days from the date from the end of the month in which the TDS is deducted. Yes. So next 194C. Well, this section is very close to my heart and I just love it. Payment to contractors. 194C of the Income Tax Act states that any person, कोई भी person, अगर कोई भी resident person को कोई work या specific कोई work in contract, there is an important word work, contract and specified person, then we are required to deduct TDS in the specified rate, which will be following in the next slides to come. 194C of the Income Tax Act states that any person making payment to a resident person who is carrying out any work in terms of contract, between the specified person and the resident contractor, means the contractor should be residing in India. He should be a resident. Then a liability of TDS is applies for this. Next, this slide contains the definition of specified person. I'll just read it for you guys. The specified person mentioned above means the following: central government or state government, local authority, corporation established by the central, state or provincial act, the company, the trust, the cooperative society, the registered society, the authority engaged either for the purpose of dealing with and satisfying the need for the house accommodation or for planning, improvement, development of cities, town and villages, the university established, incorporated by central, state or provincial act, the firm, the government of a foreign state, a foreign enterprise or any association body established outside India, the individual or HUF liable to audit under section 44AB, clause A or B during the financial year immediate preceding the financial year in which the sum is credited or paid. Well, this is just a definition that we can just go through. Next, the term work. The term work includes the following: advertisement. The previous slide was about the specified person, and the specified person is the person who will be giving work to a resident contractor, and the specified works are as follows: advertisement, carriage of goods, passengers by any mode of transport except railways, broadcasting and telecasting, which also includes the production of programs for any broadcasting or telecasting, catering, manufacturing, supplying a product based on the requirement of specification of customers by using materials purchased from the customer. However, it does not include the material purchased from any other person other than the customer. Well, the last point, that is manufacturing, supplying a product based on the requirements of specification by using the material purchased from the customer. This point is very important, because in the recent amendments that came, the suppose A and B. A is the person who gives contract to B, and A is the person who gives contract to B. Therefore, A is the person who gives contract to B. Therefore, if any person who is also related to A, suppose XYZ, and also these three persons XYZ gives some material, that is sells materials to the person B, that is the resident contractor, then this will also come under section 194C. This is a very important point, my friends. Next is the rates under TDS under section 194C. It is to be deducted at two specified rates, 1%, 2%. Payment if made, that is the resident contractor, कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जिसको हम लोग काम देंगे, अगर वो जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर जिसको काम दे रहे हैं वो या तो इंडिविजुअल या एचयूएफ है, then 1%, or a person other than an individual HUF, that is for example AOP, BOI, firm, company, then 2%. Well, if the PAN is not furnished by the deductee, then 20% is the TDS rate that is to be deducted by the deductor. Next, moving on to list of exception, that is there are few cases in which no TDS is to be deducted under section 194C. They are, if the specified person, well, I will give you some explanations. If the specified person will give a work to a resident contractor in which only a single contract is taken place in the whole of the financial year, और अगर वो amount 30,000 से ज़्यादा नहीं होता है, then no need of deducting TDS. Next, if more than one or two contracts is being done by a specified person A, suppose, and a resident contractor B, suppose, and there are 2 to 3 contracts that is being done between them, but the aggregate amount, that is the total amount of payment, does not exceed rupees 1 lakh, then also no TDS is required to be deducted under section 194C. Next, if the amount paid or credited is to a transporter, mind you friends, to a transporter who is in the business of flying, hiring or leasing of goods and services, where the contractor does not own more than 10 vehicles. Yes, more than 10 vehicles. अगर 10 गाड़ियों से ऊपर नहीं है वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के पास, जिसका काम है लीजिंग ऑफ या फ्लाइंग या हायरिंग ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, देन उसको भी टीडीएस काटने की आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ेगी. लेकिन इसमें द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर दैट इज द पर्सन हु इज गिविंग द सर्विसेज ऑफ फ्लाइंग हायरिंग, उसको एक रिटन डिक्लेरेशन देना पड़ेगा अलॉन्ग विथ इट्स पैन दैट हमारे पास 10 गाड़ी से ज्यादा नहीं है. नेक्स्ट इज द अमाउंट इज पेड और क्रेडिटेड टू द कॉन्ट्रैक्टर by an individual HUF for carrying out any work in the nation. That is, अगर कोई individual HUF अगर वो specified person में है, और उन लोग अगर कोई पर्सनल यूज के काम के लिए अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को कोई पैसा देते हैं, तो उसमें भी हमें 194C के अंडर कोई TDS डिडक्ट नहीं करना पड़ेगा. नेक्स्ट, we move on to section 194M, that is TDS on payment to resident contractors and professionals. This is a newly inserted section in the Finance Act 2019, which invokes a TDS at a rate of 5% on the sum or aggregate of sum if the total amount of money paid exceeds rupees 50 lakh per year. This section applies to personal as well as business, या तो पर्सनल या बिजनेस दोनों के लिए. जैसे 194C में हमें पर्सनल, अगर इंडिविजुअल एचयूएफ अगर पर्सनल काम के लिए कोई भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेंगे तो उन्हें टीडीएस, उनका टीडीएस नहीं कटेगा. लेकिन यहाँ पर 194 में बोला जाता है कि पर्सनल या बिजनेस यूज किसी के लिए भी आपको टीडीएस काटना जरूरी है, लेकिन 50 लाख से ज्यादा पेमेंट होना पड़ेगा पूरे साल में. और इसमें तभी आएगा अगर आपका 194C या 194J में अट्रैक्ट नहीं होता है प्रोविजन. A little bit of discussion about the amendments due to COVID-19. Yes, friends, this is a huge pandemic that is being faced by each and every one of us. पूरी दुनिया, yes, the whole world. इसके वजह से टीडीएस में एक हल्का फुल्का चेंजेस आया है, वो मैं थोड़ा सा बता दूं आप लोग को. That generally we had just studied that a interest rate of 1% per month, that is 12% per year, or 1.5% per month, that is 18% per year, is leviable on either late payment or non-deduction of TDS. वही यहाँ पर हमें थोड़ा रिलैक्सेशन दिया गया है. अगर 20th मार्च और 30th जून के बीच में हम लोग को कोई भी टीडीएस डिडक्ट करना था, पे करना था, देन हमें उसमें इंटरेस्ट लगेगा अब 9% इंस्टेड ऑफ 12% एंड 18% पर मंथ और पार्ट ऑफ द मंथ. फिर नो लेट फीस लेविएबल इफ रिटर्न इज फाइल लेटली. लेकिन अगर हम 30 जून के बाद ये वाले जो ड्यू पेमेंट है ये करते हैं तो जो हमारा नॉन डिडक्टेड अमाउंट है, दैट इज हम लोग डिडक्ट ही नहीं कर पाए थे, तो 1% हम लोग का इंटरेस्ट लगेगा उस पे from the date on which the tax was deductible to the actual date of deduction, और 1.5% लगेगा from the date in which the deduction was made till the date of payment to the government treasury. इसमें कोई रियायत नहीं मिलेगा. दैट इज अगर 30 जून के बाद हम लोग पेमेंट करते हैं तो ये जो रिलैक्सेशन है 9% का, ये एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा. वेल फ्रेंड्स, at such a note, I would like to end my short video with a disclaimer. The information in the presentation is for general guidance purposes only. While every effort has been made to ensure the contents are accurate, the presentation is intended for educational purposes only and does not replace independent professional judgment. Thank you, friends. I hope you will like my video.